Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, and Pamela. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Parents. 1957, Part 108. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio. October 4th, 1957. Dear Mother, John left for Japan this morning and made me promise to write to you tonight and ask you to come look after the children while I'm in the hospital. He suggested you come about the 20th and stay at least until I come home from the hospital, or as soon as you could, unless you'd prefer to wait until I wired you that the baby arrived. He thought we might have a better visit this summer now that the pressure is off. He said he'd give you $100 toward your plane fare. John's grandma Zook had a stroke and was paralyzed, is still partly, and his mother has been down looking after her for a couple of weeks. Also, John's mom has been having female trouble that she was afraid was cancer but is not. I hadn't even considered asking her anyway because she's had our children so much, particularly that month last year when we were in New Zealand. I have several women lined up. The one who knows the children the best can't come steadily. One broke her shoulder and one left for Boston. There are two others, but John does not like to have strangers in with the children unless necessary. He said that you've mentioned several times that you were sorry you couldn't be closer to the children, and also mentioned that you wish you could have helped his mom last fall. He'd like to know your decision too, so his address is Hotel Imperial, Tokyo, Japan. So much has been going on around here, I hardly know what's up. John personally raised the money for this year's president to go, and if that wasn't an undertaking, the president's wife decided to go too, less than 24 hours before they left. They phoned her grandmother to fly from Dallas, Texas to care for their 4 children, ages 2, 3-year-old twins, and a 5-year-old. And her mother gave her $1,000 for part of the trip and loaned her mink stole and furs. She called me to see what to take. I just finished talking to another friend. They're flying to Hawaii and wanted to know what to wear. So I'm getting to be an example, I guess. We saw them off, the president and wife, yesterday as they had to go to Chicago and get special passports from Washington. And John was meeting them there, and tonight they're all in San Francisco, going to Top of the Mark he'd planned. There are 43 going from the United States this year. Tomorrow night they'll be in Hawaii and Sunday night Tokyo, then tour Japan, then the Congress in Tokyo, then Hong Kong, Manila, Philippines, then Hawaii. A tremendous experience, and John deserves it. This week he got up at 6:30 to work on the yard as he was in Columbus last weekend. At night he painted closets and the basement floor for me. The night before he left last night he worked at the office till almost midnight and filed 3 lawsuits he'd been trying to settle. He brought me home a new 1950 gold portable television set the other night he'd bought on the way home, 17 inches. Also bought me a pale gold bedspread and bedroom drapes and had a man clean the rug. I've done the new baby's room and upstairs, but now have the kitchen and bathroom to do. I did the outside windows, but almost had the baby, so have to do the kitchen walls in stages. We're chairman of a dance tonight, but can't be there, of course. I wrote 200 labels for John to buy and mail our Christmas cards from Japan. Also get Christmas gifts. The baby is due October 25th according to one doctor, November 3rd according to the other. Mrs. Gallagher said she could come on the 25th for the weekend if I have the baby that day. It concerned him more leaving me more than it did me, I think. I'm mailing you the proofs of the latest photos for you to choose. Wish I'd had one taken a year ago when Mark and Pam were both so chubby and young. We hadn't realized how fast they grow up. Thank you for the pictures and the baby present that arrived today. I got 20 more bulbs to plant today, so hope to get them planted tomorrow. Pam and Mark have been so good and patient trying to help me get my shopping and banking done. If you come, bring your driver's license. Several of John's Junior Chamber of Commerce friends have offered to take me to the hospital if the baby comes before John gets back. He's due back the 27th of October at 7:55 p.m. I forgot to tell you, the little book I helped write at the Hearing and Speech Center was published. I must say good night. Love, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. P.S. Pamela named her big doll and also the little red-headed Scotch doll Grandma Smallshaw. John's mother had given her the big one with hair like Mommy's. Also, she named the Indian baby and another doll Baby Brian and another Nancy. All her own idea. She's quite a girl. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 13th, 1957. Dear Mother and Dad, we were so sorry to hear about Grandpa. It's hard to believe. He was so well and active and bright when he was here last year. We were really looking forward to another visit from him next year. He built that lovely stone walk, his own idea, in quite hot weather. We think of him every time we go out on it. He was a fine man. It was good, though, that he went quickly rather than a long siege of illness. I'd hoped that by now we'd have definite word as to when you'd be here, so that John's mind could be at ease. It's certainly wonderful of Elsie to say she'd come. She is truly a Christian. We do hope she visits us sometime, but in a visitor's capacity. I wouldn't have the nerve to presume on her good nature, for the children are not her grandchildren. Maybe she can look after Dad for a couple of weeks. I'll write and thank her for her willingness, but can't imagine asking Carol to look after Pam's children someday, nor Doris asking me to look after Brian's someday, unless the grandmother could not be there. John's folks came over today and took us out to dinner, and brought Pam a cute dress and Tam and Mark a cowboy hat. It was good for the children and me too. Pamela threw up the other night over her new bed, and Mark got sick Friday as we were leaving for my doctor appointment, and again last night all over his bed and sheets. Also, Pamela has had earaches for the past 2 nights, so I've had innumerable trips upstairs cleaning up, washing bedclothes and pads at midnight last night. Mark had the Asian flu shots with John, so must be another flu. I've washed all the kitchen walls, the baby's room, and waxed the floors, washed all the windows inside and out, cleaned the stove and cupboards, had the rug cleaned, the room upstairs cleaned, so we're in pretty good shape. I plan to pack my hospital bag tonight and make some frozen dinners for heating later while I'm in the hospital or home. John's folks are coming on the 27th to meet John, so I think I'll fix pizzas to freeze and heat up. John's mother said she'd take the children, but couldn't let her after all she's done, and then you've expressed so many times how you wish you could help when we were in New Zealand, and how far away the children are. Our concern is to have someone here when I have to go to the hospital. Also, John's mom might have to go to Grandma Zook at any moment. Mark is such a wonderful help. I raked leaves yesterday, and he carried about 15 boxes to be burned. Didn't let me carry one. His daddy told him to take care of me and not let me do too much, so when I get a pain, he says, You'd better take it easy. I'm afraid he takes the responsibility far too heavy for 4 years old, though. The day John left, he said he had an earache that wouldn't go away until his daddy came back. This morning I asked how he felt, and he said, "I've had a hard week." Mark and Pam watched Pinocchio and Lassie on television and are now tucked in with a bucket beside each one for good luck. So hope we have a quiet night. So hope we'll hear when you'll arrive, and hope I'll be able to drive to the airport to meet you. Love, Ruth, Mark, Pamela, and 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 16th, 1957. Dear folks, I went to the doctor yesterday morning, and he quite startled me by at first saying that the baby's head was deep in the pelvic area and felt like it might come today. Then he gave me a vaginal examination and said it wouldn't come within 48 hours, but possibly next week. He didn't give me much hope of waiting till November, as I'd hoped and planned. I'd so like to wait till John gets back so he could see the delivery. I guess we'll have to have another baby for him to be there. I'm beginning to think it would have been simpler to have planned the Japan trip and had the baby next summer. John's letters make the trip sound just wonderful. He says the scenery is so beautiful touring Japan, but that Tokyo is not so favorable, huge but so much poverty. Lots of rebuilding and construction going on, but very crude labor methods. They've been in gorgeous hotels, and he says the American influence is quite apparent. He visited Mount Fuji and has been swimming. I hope he gets good slides. He likes Kyoto. The doctor wanted me to come in next, but I persuaded him to make the appointment for the 29th and hope I can wait, although he seemed to doubt it. If I wait till then, I could probably have the baby that day. If John were here, I could probably have it the next week or any day I wanted. So if you come, you probably won't have to miss much Sunday school and other activities. I'm afraid with all John's activities, it's hard to work in both trips and babies. He plans to go to Los Angeles next June for the National Convention, Minneapolis next fall for the World Congress, and wherever the next one is the following year. Mexico? Europe? They've asked him to be on the planning group to work with the mayor to plan the future growth and development of Cleveland. The news about John going to Tokyo headlined it "Wandering Father" and indicated the baby was due before his return. The society editor asked one of my friends to give her the story of my trip. Johanna said, "I don't think she's going to Japan." I had the kiddies shopping after the doctor today, and everyone asks Mark why he's not in school. "He's so tall." The manager of one of the department stores stopped to talk to them for several minutes. I took them out to lunch and then for a ride on the horses. After a while, Mark said, "You know, Daddy doesn't like you to shop long. You better go home and get off your feet before you start getting pains." I have to deliver the Christmas cards I sold for the JC Auxiliary tomorrow and deliver dance tickets for the dance Saturday night. Exchange nighties. I forgot they should open in front for nursing. Return some maternity clothes I borrowed and wash some others, and get more groceries in when I can get the refrigerator defrosted again. Hard to get frozen foods in without using up others. I have a meeting tomorrow night, but John has asked me not to go to anything this month. I saw the Queen open Parliament on television and read the speech from the throne. John visited the Japanese Imperial Palace and was there when Jawaharlal Nehru and party arrived from India. Also visited many temples and shrines. Nehru is staying at the same hotel as John in Kyoto. Love, Ruth, Mark, Pamela, and 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, Thursday, November 7th, 1957. Dear Daddy, we all want you to know how very much we appreciate you encouraging Mother to come to help us and look after our children while we have our third new baby. Mother said that you couldn't have been nicer about her coming, and we do realize how lonely it is for you and also how you have to cook for yourself. This is a tremendously thrilling time for us. John arriving home and in time to witness the birth of our little daughter. The doctor took a Polaroid picture of the three of us a minute after Patricia was born, so she'll have a real souvenir of her birthday. We got to the hospital at 8:30 and the doctor arrived at 10 o'clock p.m. and the baby arrived at 10:22, so it was very well planned. And on the day that she was anticipated, too, although the doctor thought she would come earlier. November 3rd was what I had figured. Mother is doing a wonderful job at home. Mark and Pamela in particular are quite a handful, and I hope they aren't too hard on her. Pamela really keeps things moving, although so far, Mother seems to understand her wild ways. I hope that I won't get too emotional when I get home and spoil it all. I just had a local for delivery, so found it rugged, but feel quite good now and saw them cut the cord. John said that watching Patricia come was the most wonderful experience of his life. I'll never forget how thrilled I was at Mark's birth. Mother will handle Mark's 5th birthday Saturday. Much love and thanks again. Ruth, John, Mark, Pamela, and Patricia Ann. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, November 19th, 1957. Dear Mother and Dad, we do want to thank you both again for helping us with our third baby. I have been wondering how your trip home was, Mother, and hope it wasn't too exhausting for you. I thought of you at 10 o'clock as you left. John was home by 10:25 and said he saw the plane take off and thought he saw you. I got up with Patricia at 1 o'clock a.m. and hoped you were off from Toronto, and again at 6 o'clock a.m. and hoped you were home. Maybe another day you'd have felt stronger. Thanks for the nice gifts for the kiddies and the nuts for morale. Mark and Pam are both still sick. Mark hadn't kept anything down from Saturday until today and is now sleeping in our room with the steamer going for his cough. Pam coughed steadily today but seems better tonight, but still coughing. Baby Patty is good. Terry bought her booties with rosebuds on that match her gown. Still more cards every day in the mail for her. John's mom phoned Sunday and was surprised you were gone and sorry you were sick. She offered to come this week to help, but we thought we'd save her for an emergency and hope I don't get it. She phoned again last night. It must be a bad bug to hit so hard. I do hope that the trip wasn't too hard on you and that you are recovered. Thanks again for everything. I'll write more when I have more time. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, Pamela, and Patty Ann. To be continued. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history if this interests you. Finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, photographs, family movies, and videos, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 664 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate feature. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. You also might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History, at Anchor FM Peter Ray, REA. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider Res Celeste Educational Center. Res Celeste is located in San Juan, Metro Manila, Philippines, Barangay Maytunas, on Allenby Street off of Wilson Street, not far from the corner of P. Guevara and Wilson Street. At Res Celeste, we specialize in helping young people who have had difficulty in the larger traditional high schools. It's more than a school, it's a warm, supportive community and a family-type environment, and we try to be creative and innovative. And the website is resceleste.education, RESALEST. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.